All right, all right, all right. Double trucking. Good morning. It's Dana and Sherry. We are here in Watchtown, Indiana, waiting on our truck. We've been thinking about some good content, and today we're going to talk to those of you who are thinking about teaming, men or women. These are some questions that we think that are important questions that maybe you should ask when you're screening, trying to find a teammate. Now, I know that some companies, when you go to CDL school and you start recruiting, or companies start recruiting you, some of them offer a pool of people who they'll try to set you up with a team member. Some of them will tell you we don't team match, and it's up to you to find somebody. So for those of you who do not have a husband, wife, partner already in mind, or maybe even if you do, maybe these are some things that you should discuss before going on a truck. But we've come up with some questions that we feel like are pretty important questions that you need to talk about before going on a truck. So, number one.
Smoke.
Yep. Some people cannot tolerate smoke at all. So therefore it would be important to find out if they smoke. If you don't smoke, but you can tolerate it, you need to find out. Okay, look, if you smoke, that's fine. I can tolerate it. If it works, it works. If you absolutely cannot tolerate it, don't want it in your truck, then you got to let that be known up front.
We smoke, but we never smoke in the bunk.
Right. When I first started driving for Double S, they would ask me, because Sherry and I didn't start together. And so they would ask me, if somebody was coming on the truck with me, they said, well, they don't really particularly like smoke, or they're okay with smoking. I'd tell them, make sure they know that I smoke, but I always keep a window cracked. I'm what I consider a clean smoker, and I know a lot of people who are dead set against smoking don't see where that can be clean at all, but I consider myself a polite smoker. I'm not a chain smoker, a little more heavier smoker. So those are things that you need to discuss. Okay, so the next question.
Do you have allergies? So the reason why you should ask that is that, number one, is that some of us have animals and we bring animal fur on, or we have dogs. Some of us wear body colognes or body lotions that may affect the other. You're in close quarters here, so it may affect the other driver. I mean, it's you may wake up and smell an Axe spray, and it may just send you completely off.
Yep.
The other thing is that you may have another driver that is allergic to peanuts, and they may not be able to handle any kind of peanuts in the truck.
Yep, and peanut butter usually is something that we keep on the truck, so
right.
That would be something that, I use essential oils. Trace and Sherry cannot hardly tolerate one of the oils that I use, and I put it on my aching, like when my back aches or my knees hurt, I use that particular oil, and they're not allergic, but neither one of them can hardly stand it. So those are things that you need to talk about.
It's tolerable. It's just one of those things. But I'll tell you what, when we need it, it's there for us too. So we don't complain too much. Trace, however, he will snort.
He blows bubbles. He'll try to tear that bed up.
He will bury his nose in the couch, in the bunk. Okay, number 3. Do you like to drive nights or days? So, Dina and I, when we first started driving, and this is going to be a whole nother thing that we're going to discuss about new drivers, is do you like to drive nights or days? Dina does better during the days, and I drive nights. Now we have one route that we switch off, that I do drive days, or I do drive a part of days, and she drives nights because of the route that we take. And but I mostly drive nights, and she drives days. And we have a good compromise on what we do. We know the routes. That's the way we do that. And we have it set up to where, you know, if we get burnout on night, if I get burnout on nights, I know I can say I need a break off nights, and she'll give it to me, you know, if I really need a break off of nights. Most drivers, a lot of new drivers that are with experienced drivers, Dina's a trainer, and she likes to mostly put them on, I think, a day.
On days, yeah.
On days. And when I first started, though, I actually did go on nights.
You were on days at first.
I was on days, but I went to nights for a little while because it was less traffic.
Yeah.
Especially the route that I was on, I went to nights. So, and then I went back to days for a little while.
As a trainer, whenever I am with somebody new, I always put the new driver on days, just because they're not familiar with the roads, and night driving is just a whole new ballgame.
Right.
So she drove days for a little bit, and then there was a route that we were on that the traffic was less. It was less congested, and I felt that since she is kind of more of a night person than I am, I felt that maybe it would be an easier route for her to drive nights, so we did that. And I can drive nights. I actually prefer to drive nights, but what happened is we were kind of flipping back and forth, and it was I have a hard time flipping from nights to days, so we just decided that it would be best, since she is actually more of a night person, just to keep me on days, because it was the flipping back and forth that really got me. So you really need to discuss your driving schedule.
Yeah. And that brings us to our next question: is experience level.
Yeah.
And you really need to know what your co-driver and your driver, each driver's experience level. That way you can work off of each other. You know how much experience.
Nope.
You know how much experience each driver has. So that's the next question.
Thing that I really, really don't like, I don't like putting two new drivers together to go out there and just sort it out. I think that if you're going to team and you're brand new, try to find somebody that has some experience, that knows the road, that knows kind of the system and how things work. Because if you're both new, you're just out there struggling. You're struggling with trying to work the clock. You're struggling with trying to figure out your schedule, how to best work it. There's so much that you do not know. And your first year on the road is going to be your hardest year, because you really just don't know. You don't know. And
that's going to be another video.
So I just don't agree with putting two new drivers in a truck together. I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah. Talking about two new experienced drivers, we're talking about two new green drivers.
Right.
So the next question we have is do you have a male or female driving preference? You know, some people only want to drive with males with males. Some females only want to drive with females. Some don't care who they drive with. Now, Dina does not have a preference who she drives with. I, however, do have a preference. I cannot sleep behind the wheel. I can't sleep in the sleeper with behind a male. It's just it goes back to my history in my life. I don't feel comfortable with I don't have problems personally with men. I cannot sleep with a man in the same truck. If I I just can't do it. And some males, you see a lot of these truck drivers that are male with male. These truck drivers, they'll be laid over for 10, 15, 20 hours, and you'll see these males won't even bunk up together.
Yeah, you'll see them sleeping in the cab, and you got somebody in the sleeper, and it don't make sense to me.
Dean and I, when we get to Rialto, and we're there for hours on end, we utilize both these bunks. We're sleeping. And it's so much less stress. So, it's kind of ridiculous, that two men can't just, be bunk buddies and not have to worry about stuff. But, I don't know if two women that, are just friends just can't bunk up together and not have to worry about stuff.
We'll talk about that a minute, because when I first started driving for Double S, I drove with men.
Right.
And I get it. When I first started driving, I sensed an uncomfortable, and I get it, because guys are married. They come out on the road and their wives know that they're going out with a woman for a week. And I totally get that. It's they've got to have a level of trust there. As for me and my part, I'm out here to make a living. I mean, I'm just here. I got bills to pay, and I'm here to do a job, and I know what I'm doing. And so I'm not interested in any hunky funky stuff. I'm here to do a job. I'm professional, and so I am quite comfortable. As long as they're professional, I ain't got no problems driving with whoever. But when we would, like I was driving Hagerstown, I was driving where we would have some layover time, and these guys would literally sit up in the seat for their whole shift. We had a run to Smithton, PA, where we would literally have to sit over. And I felt so bad, because they would give me the bunk and they would sit up in the seat. And I'm like, look, dude, I am not uncomfortable. If you feel like climbing, and give me the bottom bunk, climb up there and go to sleep. I mean, I am okay. You do not have to worry about me. I am not concerned about you. Please don't sit up in that seat all night and be uncomfortable. But, and I get it. They got to answer to a wife or a girlfriend or whatever. But I don't get that. But anyway, that's something that you definitely have to talk about. You have to talk about if you're going with somebody and they're not your partner, you have to make sure that you have trust at home and they have trust at home, and that you can be a team, and that doesn't screw stuff up at home. All right, next question.
How often do you expect to take a shower? Now, Dina and I, we don't stop to take a shower. I know that may sound like it grosses you out. You might be grossed out to hear that fact. But this truck does not stop. We stop to fuel up. We have things back here that we take what's called the trucker bath. We have shower. We have these things that they're wipes, and we can totally.
They're disposable washcloths.
Disposable washcloths, and we can brush our teeth back here. We can totally clean ourselves down, from head to toe, and we have underarm deodorant. We have all that stuff that we do every day before our shifts, and we have change of clothes, underwear, socks, everything gets changed out. We have a laundry bag. Some truck drivers think that they need to take, every time they switch out, they need to go in there and run in there and take a shower. We have minutes. she had a little guy that she had in here training one day, and he ran in there within his 30 minutes. He took his shower. You know, if you can do it, you can do it. You know, it's in the middle of the night. You can run in and get your shower done and get it over with. Hey, more power to you. But hygiene is important because we don't want you stinking.
The thing about it is, when we go out, we leave out on late Monday night, Tuesday morning.
We take a shower right before we leave.
We take a shower walking out the door. Our Florida trip is, you got to move. We have no stopping time whatsoever. We have no wait time. We got to move to get that 6,000 miles in. Now, we actually have time right now on this while we're waiting. We could take a shower. We took a shower 8 hours ago. I'm okay. I'm not funky yet. Plus, we're sitting at a TA, and I don't really want to pay $18 for a shower at the TA. We have reward cards that have showers on them at Flying J and at Love's, and we get them free. So we're not where we can, we'd have to pay for it. So I'm not going to pay for a shower this morning when I had one last night at 7 o'clock.
22 showers at Love's for a team. One of those showers is worth a team shower.
Right. So now, when we get to Rialto, we've got lots of time. Most of the time, we could go in and take a shower. Dina's not taking a shower at Rialto. It is nasty. I'm just not going to go in there and take a shower at Rialto. I'm sorry. I'm just not. So that's why we stay prepared with things to do what we need to do here in the truck.
Right.
All right. Next question.
Expectations of home time. I'll let you discuss that.
Expectations of home time?
Yeah.
So when you're teaming, a lot of companies will tell you they want you to stay out 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and then you get so many days off. You don't have to come in at 2 or 3 weeks. You find a partner if you want to stay out, however long. That's something you need to talk to with your partner. When I first started driving, we stayed out anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, and then we would take some home time. And we usually didn't stay home but maybe 3 or 4 days at the most. I'm over that. I am so over that. That is why I'm driving for Double S now, because we go out on Monday night, Tuesday morning, and we're back in by Sunday. It just depends on the run. And we're on a dedicated run. Now, if you're driving for somebody, you can drive regional, you can drive dedicated, you can drive over the road. So if you're going into this for the first time, you'll need to talk to the company to see, first of all, you need to decide what you want. If you want to get out there and run across the country and do your layovers out on the road so that you can do some stuff and see some things, then go over the road and stay out and find somebody that you can do things with. And I will say, that is fun. I've been to New York City on layovers. I've been to, did a layover in Orlando, went to Universal Studios on a layover. I've been to Chicago, went downtown Chicago, had pizza and all kinds of beer. I've been to all over the place doing that. But I got to do what I wanted to do in the first year and a half that I trucked, and I got to do all that. And so now I'm a grandmother, and I'm old, and so I want to be home every week. So that, my priorities have changed now. And so I think Sherry would kind of like to do some things like that. And once we get to a spot where we've got our finances a little better, we may be more apt to do something like that. But we are just not, I'm not right there right now. So, home time, decide what you want. Don't let a company pressure you into doing something that you don't want. Keep looking. Keep looking. There are hand over fist companies out there, and you will find what you want, and you will find a partner that will do like you want. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Okay.
And we kind of reviewed this already. It's layovers. It's sleepy preference whether or not they want the top or bottom bunk, or whether or not they can even sleep in the bunk if somebody else is in the bunk.
Yeah. Now,
So,
you prefer to sleep on the bottom,
yes,
and I don't mind climbing right now.
right,
I'm not too old to climb, so I usually take the top bunk when we're laid over,
right,
and you take the bottom bunk. But that's something that needs to be discussed and worked out.
right.
Okay? And while we're on that subject, talk about how, look at your storage in your truck once y'all get in. Figure out who's going to put, who's going to claim what area and sort your stuff and all that good stuff.
Communication skills. Does your prospective teammate have good communication skills? And do you have good communication skills with them? Do you talk about your route system that you're going? Do you talk about the weather that you're going to be coming up against? Do they know how to read a GPS? Do they understand what the GPS is telling them? Do you go over the directions? Do you go over the maps? Do they understand that, the GPS is not always right? They got to read the roads along with the GPSs. Do they have the communication skills to be able to say, uh-oh, I might be in the wrong place, and to be able to wake you up and say, hey, listen, I need a little bit of help here. They got to have those communication skills to say, I need my teammate up here, and we need to work this problem. Solving problems together with two heads together is
Always
better.
better.
One person. And I'll tell you this from experience as starting off as a new truck driver with Dina. I got caught in downtown St. Louis and I made a wrong turn, and I got caught in downtown, and I stopped right at the perfect spot, and I got Dina out of the sleeper, and I made a perfect U-turn. Was it a set of doubles?
Yeah.
It was a set of doubles, and all I had to make was the U-turn, and I got right back on course. But I had her with me to look at where I was at, make sure I had enough room, and I got right back on the interstate. But I made the wrong turn. Wasn't nobody's fault. It was I just didn't know.
Well,
Exactly.
the GPS was reading ahead, and it had you confused. But you got to find somebody that's willing to do that, and you've got to be willing to be able to work with somebody too.
You got to be able to take constructive criticism
Yes.
and the instruction, and not be, oh, I'm a big bad, which takes us to the other fact.
Yeah, you got to be able to. You want somebody that at the end of your shift, y'all got to update each other. Hey, what happened last night? What am I going to run into? Hey, this is going on with the truck, or not going on with the truck. Everything's been good. Nothing's going on. Hey, I had a ABS light go off, or hey, the trailer's pulling to one side. You got to be willing to communicate. If something's eating at you, maybe your partner's doing a little something that's, bugging you. It's not a big deal. But those little bitty things will eat at you, and you've got to be able to discuss everything, or you're going to wind up in a few weeks, y'all are going to explode, and you're going to implode as a team.
You got to always put yourself in that situation. All right. Number 10, are you a clean truck driver? Do you clean up after yourself? So, this brings us back to a previous video. Dina and I, we have a trash can in his truck. After every shift, and even during when we're laid over, we clean the windows, the inside of the windows. We have every kind of cleaning supply in this truck. We have window washing fluid. We have Windex to clean the windows. We have stuff. We have Clorox cleanups to clean the countertops and the steering wheels and everything else. We have brooms, everything. We have vacuum, everything. Dina came across one truck driver. She was training. She came out here, and there was wrapper packages everywhere. There's crumbs everywhere, all over the place. It's not uncommon to come out and see cracker crumbs on the floor. That's nothing new. But to come out and see wrappers everywhere and crumbs everywhere and grime and shit all over the steering wheel, and you got to climb up behind that person and have to drive behind that person, it's the most disgusting thing you ever have to do. And then you got to embarrass them by saying, hey, listen, you need to clean up after yourself, because you shouldn't have to do that.
At the end of your shift, you want to be able to trust that okay, so you're not with a partner or whatever, so you're going to want to have something. If you drink water or you drink sodas or whatever, we carry a little toolbox thing that holds our water beside our seat. So when I'm riding with somebody, not Sherry, like if she takes a week off and I don't, and I'm running with somebody else, when I get done with my shift, I take all of my stuff. When I stop and set the brake, put myself in the sleeper, I gather all my stuff out of the driver's seat and I move out of the way, and he comes to the driver's seat. So that would include, if I've made a mess over here, say I don't know, maybe I was eating potato chips or something, and I had potato chip oil on my hands, and maybe I felt like the steering wheel was a little oily, I'll take a wipe and wipe that steering wheel down for him. So you want to find somebody that is courteous and clean, a clean truck driver that will do those things and be courteous of you. For you to come into the seat, and you want to do the same for your team.
It's kind of like leaving it.
Yeah.
Next question is do they like to cook on the truck or eat mostly on the truck in the truck stops? Are they planning on bringing a bunch of food onto the truck? You need to know how much you can separate how much they're going to take up of the refrigerator compared to what you're going to take up of the refrigerator.
It's not that big.
It's not that big, and you both are out there for a week, so you need to know. And if they're going to cook on the truck, you really kind of need to know what kind of food they're going to cook on the truck, because you don't need to be smelling liver and onions or smelly fish on a truck for 3 days.
Comes into time management. I know we're kind of veering off the questions, but if you're going to eat, what we do is when we stop to fuel, we walk the dog, we run in and get our receipt and get something to eat, we come back out the truck and go. So that might help you if you're new. That might help you try to kind of figure out, okay, when do you eat, kind of something. Or if you're eating on the truck, say your co-driver's driving, you get up, we get our food together and everything, and I drove with somebody that he would eat in the bunk before he ever came out, and then he was ready to drive. So that's just something you got to work out. You got to figure out.
Making each other sandwiches, or for a layover like that. Like I just finished making me something that I like to fix a meal on Sundays before we go out that's big enough to take in
little
Tupperware containers to last us for a couple of days. Like this week I made a big old pot of goulash, hamburger goulash, so we have that, and we have sandwich stuff, and we always have stuff that goes in our little tray, like crackers and snacks and stuff like that. There's another one.
If it's 111 it's us. I don't think it's us though. We got to speed up though because he's probably getting close.
So, the last question on this is: Are you a responsible adult? I.e., get up on time to switch out.
It's not us. Yep.
Do you set your alarm? She got a new dress on. Do you set your alarm? Do you wake yourself up? Do you get yourself up? That you don't need your driver yelling to get you up. Now, Dina and I, because we know each other, you know, I'll wake her up sometimes, get her up. That way she doesn't have to, you know, sometimes, a lot of times she'll get up on her own, or I'll wake her up when we're about 40 miles out or so, because I know how long it's going to take her to get up and get her stuff ready, and so she can have a cigarette and do whatever, or I'll tell her what time to wake me up.
Here. Hey. Take this.
So, yeah, she's so we take that time to wake each other up, and you know, it kind of works out that way. Sometimes I'll take my phone back there and I'll set an alarm, or she'll take her phone back and set an alarm, and or we just kind of wake up and know the road. So our next set of questions is questions we would like to ask but don't. These are the kind of the real questions we want to ask but we don't. The first questions are
you batshit crazy?
Are you batshit crazy? Are you going to come in here and friggin' be totally off the wall batshit crazy? And I'm going to have to, like, be looking at you like this on the side of my eye, and be side looking at you and start biting my nails, and be thinking I'm going to have to call Kenny, going, who in the shit hell did you put me with? And thinking, how soon can I get this bastard, crazy ass son of a bitch off my truck? Because they're thinking every light that changes is because they know it's him or her. And okay, anyway, that's the first question. The second question is are you one of those conspiracy theorists that think that Big Brother is out to get you and the world is coming to an end? Do you watch faux news?
Watch yourself.
No offense, but seriously, are you one of those conspiracy theorist people that think that the world is coming to an end at any minute, and your Lord Jesus Savior is the orange man?
Stop it.
Because if you are, you're not going on the truck with me, because I can't deal with that. No. No. We ain't doing that, because I end up choking your ass.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and you're just driving a truck to save enough money to buy stuff for prepper stuff for the end of the world. Okay. Anyway, and talking about that, because you got 15 AR-15s at home and an arsenal.
Don't bring your gun on the truck with me.
Yeah, don't bring it. Don't bring a gun on the truck with me, because I got guns too, but I don't bring them on the truck. But please, don't make me feel like I have to have a gun. Let me see. Do you consider yourself a professional driver or a master driver? Master trucker. Because there is a big difference. Dina, why don't you explain what the difference between a professional truck driver is and a master truck driver? She won't explain the difference.
A professional driver is one who, they get out there, they do their job, they're safe, they're professional. And, they just kind of feel like every day they could probably learn something. They know a lot about their job, but they don't flaunt it. They just go about their business. But a master trucker, you can't tell him shit.
He thinks his shit don't stink.
And he will run your ass off the road. He's rude. You can't tell him nothing. He knows it all already. We've all met him. Master trucker.
We don't want master truckers in our truck because we're not master truckers. We're professional truckers, and we don't need your master trucker bullshit on our truck. Thank you.
Keep that shit out there.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Keep on walking. Go find your own owner-operated truck where you can do your own thing. Get on your radio and tell all these people how much you're a master trucker. And when you get a DOT pullover and they find all the shit wrong and you can bitch and say the world is all against you. Okay. Done with that, right? Okay. This is a female question. This is for females out there to ask. Are you a serial murderer or serial rapist? You have to ask that question. Do they look like it? Or are they?
Some men might need to ask these women if they're looking for a woman thing. They might need to ask some women that too. There's some serial murder women out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I watch too many podcasts.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm telling you, I'll ask him. You need to tell me right now because I will do a criminal check on your ass. Let me see your ID. Because I'm running the background check. I don't care what Kenny says. You may say you're clean, but man, I'll tell you what. You give me that side eye, I'm running a background check on your ass. So, anyway, no serial murderers, no rapists, no. Keep your eyes to yourself, your hands to yourself, because I'm telling you what. I can use a butter knife and cut your shit off.
You sure will.
Okay. Anyway, number 5. Are you a nasty, dirty, smelly pig after 2 days to the point that I have to roll the windows down, blast the air just to get away from your stank? I'm telling you.
You better keep them nasty feet to yourself.
Now I'm going to tell you this. There's some truckers out there, and we know about these truckers.
They nasty.
And there's truckers out there that they stink. Their truck stinks.
You can tell by looking at them.
They got shit piled up on their windshield, just trash all the way up on their windshield, all the way up to the top of their cab. And I'm surprised DOT has not nailed them about this. But there's truckers, and there's truckers within our company that people won't even come behind them. But we know about it. But I'll tell you what, we have been put into trucks, and we know about it. There is no way in the world anybody should be put in a truck after truck drivers have been in it and come in and find pee bottles in a microwave oven, trash all over that oven, And you all know who I'm talking about. That is so nasty. And if their trucks are that bad, then their houses are that bad, and they're that nasty. Last question. Are you racist or anti-feminist or homophobic? Simple question.
Can't do no racist.
We can't do no racist. We don't care. We can't do an anti-feminist, and we can't do a homophobic. You know what?
There's no place for that in this society, although it's been made allowed.
You need to. There's no place for that in this truck around us. We don't. You don't use that kind of wordage around us. Damn, did he get close enough? You just don't. You don't use that around us.
That's our jerk.
You don't have. It doesn't happen around us at all. Plain and simple. Zero tolerance. Anyway, that's our questions.
I'm about to drop and hook.
This is Double Trucking. We hope you liked our questions. We want subscribe, hit like, ask them some more questions. This is Sherry. That's Dean. That's Dina over there.
She got the roll.